Now it's time for our series, Ask the Sharks. We're going to help you navigate an uncertain economy as small businesses learn more and more about how the federal government could help them. Pressure is mounting each day. Their doors are closed. And Shark Tank's Barbara Corcoran and Robert Herjavec are here with some very important advice.
Hey, good morning, you two. And Robert, this is your first time with us on Ask the Shark. So I want to ask you, how has COVID-19 been impacting you and your small businesses personally?
Yeah, thanks, Michael. It's been, we own a cybersecurity business, so we saw the chatter starting early and we kind of cut back and got ready, but we didn't see the depth of how hard this was going to be. What we've recommended is for people to hoard cash and really survive. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to get through it.
Yeah, that's important to remember. We're going to get to our viewer questions right now, guys, with Annie, who works in the wedding industry. Take a listen.
With the wedding industry basically coming to a screeching halt right now, I know that when this pandemic is over, there's going to be a major surge in weddings, and I would love some tips and advice on how a small company like ours can strategize now for the major surge that's coming in the bridal gown industry.
Yeah, Barbara, why don't you take this one? What does she do when things get back to normal?
Well, there's really going to be no immediate normal. Long before we have a normal, certain industries are going to have a big surge, and Annie's certainly is one of them. Weddings get postponed, but they never get canceled by the bride. This is a time, Annie, where you have to get organized, because once things are hopping, you're going to have to multiply yourself. So you want to look at your team. You want to see what talent you have, what training they need, and who you can make a department head, because you're going to need all that help in your team and be buttoned up when the things hit the fan, so to speak. Also, it's so important to keep the brides dreaming, because they're so insecure right now. And while you make them secure with constant contact, they are going to be loyal to you and be on your roster come the big surge.
All right, Robert, what are your recommendations?
Yeah, and to Barbara's point, people may not be getting married, but they're still thinking about getting married. Stay in touch with people and regionalize your outreach to the people around you. Weddings are coming back.
Without a doubt. And next up, we have a question from Valerie, who runs the gym. Take a listen.
My name is Valerie. I'm an owner of M3 Core Training in Charlottesville, Virginia. And we were just wondering, given the closure of gyms and restaurants and other service industry providers, how you would recommend approaching landlords about some sort of rent forgiveness or abatement until we are able to reopen our doors.
And Barbara, with rent due for so many people pretty soon, what is your advice?
Well, tomorrow's April 1st. Don't pay your rent. Then you call the landlord and tell them you're having a problem. Everybody's calling. They're not going to be surprised. But when you do call, be honest. Really say what you really need. Do you need part payments? Do you need to defer your rent until you're in the clear? You must be very precise. You have to also make sure, I think it's just good negotiating tactics, to offer something. Offer something. Don't go empty-handed, because it makes you appear reasonable. And in our business, we call that a deal sweetener. And believe me, it goes an awful long way.
And Robert, what do you think?
I disagree with Barbara. I think that you have to tell people bad news before you don't pay your rent. So I agree with her, defer rent as long as you can, but you got to tell people bad news. Nobody wants to find out after you haven't paid the bill. Share bad news immediately and be transparent.
All right, we have another question from Sydney. She works as a server. Let's listen.
How can I hold the service and liquor industry accountable for creating a plan of action and protection for employees in the hospitality industry once this pay period ends?
Yeah, Robert, what can service workers do right now?
Well, I think the first thing is this is not the time for the accountability game. This is not the time to look at how we could have, should have. This is the time to buckle down and work together. I really believe every industry is trying to do its best. Let's get through this in every industry, and then we can look at how we could have done things better.
All right, Barbara, what do you think?
Well, if you want to influence an employer, they're in charge. Remember, you're not. You need to have a united voice. It's your best asset. So now's the time, really, Sydney, for you to take a lead. If you gather everybody together on your side, you have the power of we versus the power of just me. Big difference. The smartest thing to focus on is to get your employer to realize, if he hasn't already, that there's a new stimulus package out and it loans money to keep everyone on the payroll. And that's what you should be focused on in your efforts. With the united voice with everyone, you can hold them accountable and get what you want, but you ought to be single-minded on what you want them to do.
And we want to thank you guys. Thank you both for very helpful advice for so many people out there who had these questions and shared with us. So we appreciate you both, and you guys have a great morning.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.